Hi, Gary Chillingworth here for Airgun World Magazine, Shooting and Country TV. Welcome to Life at the Range, take 2. As usual, we've had some issues with our sounds. I'm out here just recording the intro again. The bane of sound. It drives me crazy. Right, today's video is at request of one of the viewers. Now, one of our viewers went into Crawley looking for a gun. Brilliant place to go, wonderful selection of rifles, and he was looking at regulated rifles and unregulated rifles. I think they were both day states, and he wrote to me and said, Gary, what's the difference between a regulated and an unregulated rifle? Is there an advantage between buying either or? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the difference between this, an unregulated rifle, and an AR20 from Hammerli, which is has got a twin regulator, and an Weihrauch HW100, which is got an air metering system regulator by a different name. And we're going to see if they're more consistent over the Chrono and whether or not they're more accurate downrange. Now, I've listened to what you guys have said. The Air Arms trigger video is coming very, very soon. Also, I've got a couple of weeks annual leave, so I'm going to be doing the bluing video and another alternative, and we've got some really interesting stuff coming up. So welcome to the range. Hopefully the sound has worked this time, and I'm now going to pass you back to the fat man on the range wearing his proper jacket, which I've just realised I've left inside, and let's get on with some shooting. Ta-da! Okay, so first of all, a few people have asked what this thing is here. It actually heats up these little pads, which should hopefully drive away the mosquitoes. I've just switched it on, and you might see some, looks like vape wafting across. It's kind of a citronella thing, and yeah, it works quite well sometimes. Right, so what is a regulator? Well, essentially, it's very, very simple. With this, which is an unregulated rifle, you've got a cylinder which you fill up with compressed air up to around about 180, 190 bar. When you pull the trigger, it allows air to travel through this cylinder, through a valve, and then through the valve, straight into the barrel in like a U, pushes the pellet straight out. What a regulator does, and they're not all the same, some are different, but you've got the main cylinder, then you've got a second chamber. And what this main cylinder does is the main cylinder charges the second chamber, so you've got a smaller, more consistent body of air, and then when you pull the trigger, the air goes through a set of Bellevue washers and out the barrel. Now, what is the advantage of that? Well, you'll hear a thing referred to as a power curve, and sometimes with air rifles, you know, this is say an Air Arms HFT 500. If you fill this up to 200 bar, that's putting a lot of pressure on the valve, so you may get inconsistency of velocity because the valve is only designed to work between, on these, I think it's around about 110 to 170 bar. This Hammerli, which has got internals from Walther, I think you can fill that up to about 260, 270 bar, and you'll always have consistent shots. So I think the theory is it's meant to be more consistent over the Chrono, because it's only with a regulator, it's only ever taking air from that small chamber, not the big cylinder, which can move. But does that mean that it's going to be more consistent with a regulated rifle? Now, some people will say yes. I've always said no. Air Arms and Daystate have got the Harper valve system. This has got the knock open valve system. They've been working on these for years, and they are stupidly accurate. But what a regulated rifle will do is it will give you more shots. Now, if you've got a little rifle, something like the S200 or the BSA Ultra, both brilliant guns, they've only got a 30 or 40 shot cylinder. If you regulate those, that can increase it to 50 or 60. This, I think, it's about 110, 120, which would be more than enough for an HFT competition or an FT. And if you're out shooting rabbits and you're knocking down 100 rabbits in a session, you're a better man than I, Gunga Din. So, a regulated rifle, in theory, will give you more. Well, it will give you more shots out of a fill, so you'll save a bit of money on air. But does it make it more accurate? So what we're going to do is we're going to get a brand new tin of pellets. We're not going to weigh them, mainly because I've lost my scales. We're going to shoot 10 through the unregulated rifle, 10 through the Hammerli, which is a double regulated rifle, 10 through the HW100, and let's have a look and see what the shot spread is. They're all filled to around about 150 bar, and then we're going to look at some accuracy downrange. So let's get on with it. Okay, so we've got a brand new tin of JSB 452s. What we're going to do is we're going to fire 2 shots off without pellets in, just to settle everything down. You'll often hear in an HFT competition people saying, just going to settle the reg. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so here we go. 10 shots. Unregulated rifle. 777. 776. 777. 778. 774. 777. 777. 770. That one was a bit of a drop. 771. 772. So we've gone up from 778 to 771, a 7 foot per second variance. Very, very happy with that. So let's have a look at the Hammerli and see how we get on with that. Now, big thanks to Malden member Tom, who loaned me this, the Fire 2 off. Got the lovely Hug It silencer on the front. And here we go. 761. 762. 758. 764. 761. 765, I think that's 7 shots. 3 more. 762. 762. Last one. 758. So again, I think around about a 6 or 7 foot per second variance. Very, very happy with that. Okay, on to the Weihrauch. HW100 in 177. Air metering system. 767. 772. 773. 774 seems to be climbing. Foot per second each shot. 775, another foot per second. Place your bets. Will this be 776? 772, we dropped again. 773. 779. 771. Now these are unweighed pellets. I'm sure you could get better consistency if you used weighed pellets. So we'll just switch that off. But let's face it, the HFT 500 around about 6 or 7 feet per second variance, unregulated. The Hammerli AR20 twin regulators, 6 or 7 foot per second variance. The HW100, 6 or 7 foot per second variance with unweighed pellets. Consistency is not an issue with an unregulated rifle as long as you are shooting it within the power curve. Now I'm going to go and fill the HFT 500 up to 200 bar and let's see what it does over the Chrono, because that's now outside of its power curve. Most of our stuff has been around about 770, 777. So will it be more powerful? Will it be less powerful? We'll go and fill it up and then I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we've filled it up to 200 bar. So let's fire 5 shots over the Chrono and see how we go. Same pellets, same everything. 756. So we've dropped 20 feet per second. 752. 754. We never had any shots that low before. 766 is climbing up. 761. Okay, so let's just fire, let's dry fire a few. Let's get it. I know we dropped the gun, we dropped the thing. I would say we're a bit of a Mickey Mouse operation, but I don't even think we're that high. Right, okay, so we've fired a few off, so let's see if we're closer to the 764. What are we? I still need to fire a few more off. Okay, so I went around about 170 bar. So that should be back within its sweet spot. 779. We'll do another couple. Oh, that was a big drop. 769. 773. 776. Now, we'll turn this off so we don't want to drop it again. Now obviously we've just sat there and gone bang, 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 dry fired it, you know, which might have had an effect on it. Compressed air is very, very cold. If you start racking through shots, it makes seals cold and that can affect things. But you could see the difference. Because we were outside of the rifle's butter zone, we were above its power curve, we had a 20 foot per second drop, which might not be a problem at 10, 15, 20 yards, but if you're shooting out at 50, if you lose 20 feet per second here, by the time it gets down range, you've lost a lot more. More wind, more drop, more missed targets. So now let's look at accuracy. Is a regulated rifle more accurate than an unregulated rifle? Let's put a target down range and let's have a crack and let's do some shooting. Okay, so HFT 500, unregulated, top target. We do have wind out there. We're at 30 yards. One, two, three, four. I think I twitched on that one. Five. Don't think it's a brilliant group. We do have a slightly right to left wind, but super accurate rifle. Let's see how we get on with the Hammerli. Okay, Hammerli AR20. Now if you'd actually like to see a review on this rifle, let me know. I think it's a much underrated rifle. Okay. God, I'm wobbling about. I'm not particularly set up correctly on this rifle. I've got everything parallaxed in at 30, so we don't have error. There we go. And the last one. There we go. I don't think a terrible group. Okay, let's have a look at the HW100. Okay, HW100. Now, the HW100 here has got a bit of a disadvantage because it doesn't have the raised cheek piece. So as you can see, I'm going to have a floating head. But I've parallaxed this in so that no matter what I do in my head, the crosshairs aren't moved. It's actually set bang on 30 yards, so that shouldn't affect the way it shoots. Okay, so strange, I've noticed that all of these we've dropped slightly low with them. Okay, same aim point. Yep, that looked good. Slightly right. Three. Four. Last one. Five. Now, I think that one was me, so we just chuck one more down. I think I've just rushed it a bit. There we go. But strangely enough, my gut feeling is that that is probably the best group of the three. So I'm going to go down there, we'll get the card, we'll come back, and then we'll have a look at how we did. Well, here we have the proof. The proof of the pudding, as they say, is in the eating. Now, as you can see, our top group, about the size of a 5p piece. Our middle group, about the size of a 5p piece. Our bottom group, I had a floating head, we had a couple of misses, so it's really not a fair comparison, but we all know that the HW100 is a fantastically accurate rifle, and trust me, absolutely no difference, but not a bad group with the old AR20. So there we have it. Is a regulated rifle more accurate than an unregulated one? No, absolutely not. I've said that for years. As long as you do your research, you know that this particular gun on that particular gauge, 160 bar to about 105 bar is its sweet spot. I've got around about 55 to 60 shots, and it's all within a 5 or 6 foot per second variance. Would I be happy to use it in competition? Oh, hell yes. And I don't know anyone who wouldn't. That's with unweighed pellets. So as ever, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to our sponsor, Crawley Surplus. You guys are wonderful. Go and show them some love. Thank you to BAR for helping me out with the Chrono. And thank you to all of you for all of your suggestions and letting me know what you want me to do. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all again on the range very, very soon. Ta-da!